Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is number 41 for February 24th, 2021. I am Nemesis, and I am joined by Alcatraz here.
Hello.
Let's see, things that happen. Oh, apparently the Evangelion movie is going to be really long. The new one is coming.
Yeah.
The fourth one. It's going to be really long, apparently.
Yeah.
That's another thing that happened. Apparently the Crunchyroll Awards happened, and I have no idea what happened there because I wasn't paying attention.
Shame on you.
I wish to go ahead and look, but lazy effort. I don't know.
Lazy. Effort though.
Exactly, effort. Let's see. Find out who won.
Who did win?
Let's see. Best character design, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Okay. Best animation, Keep Your Hands Off Isaac. Makes sense. The better of one. I mean, everyone would have to be stupid if that didn't win. It's about animation. Best fight scene, My Hero Academia. Best couple, Tonikawa Over the Moon. Best performance by voice actor Japanese, Re:Zero Starting a Life in Another World. Best performance by voice actor English, My Hero Academia Season 4. Best girl, Kaguya. Okay. Kaguya from Kaguya. Best boy, Hekayu. It's the top. Best director, Keep Your Hands Off Isaac. Best score, Tower of God. Best opening sequence, Beastars. Best ending sequence, Jujutsu Kaisen. Best fantasy, Re:Zero. Best comedy, Kaguya-sama Love is War. Best drama, Fruits Basket. Best protagonist, My Next Villainous, All Routes Lead to Doom. Woo! Katarina. Best antagonist, Jujutsu Kaisen. I have no idea about this. Anime of the Year, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Interesting. One we haven't seen. At least I haven't seen.
I've seen people going off about that one. Like crazy. Like how amazing it is.
Well, if it won all those awards, then I would hope it is.
Yeah.
But sometimes ones that win awards are not exactly the ones.
How did this win?
Yes.
That sort of thing. Yeah. Let's see. There's something else. Oh. Apparently there might actually be a canon gay couple now in Love Live. Interesting. Maybe. It's one of those, they kind of were a little...
Like we've said almost... How many times have we said about Love Live? It's like they always kind of like imply but never go for it.
This one was in the manga for the original group. It was Rin and Hanyo. Rin just straight up like gives Hanyo chocolate and says, "Please be Rin's bride." And then the next panel was like, this kind of a long shot of their feet. And it's clear that Hanyo's stepping closer in such a way that's like... Yeah. So, maybe?
Maybe they're finally?
I don't know.
Or maybe that's all we'll ever get.
I don't know. Well, we'll probably down the line some they'll finally give in and actually, make it obvious. Because, yeah.
One can hope.
Yeah, one can hope. I mean, they're already most of the way there. They just need to do that final push.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about that stuff.
This time.
Yeah, we're here to talk about something actually quite a bit older.
Yeah.
Actually about our ages.
Don't make me feel older than I already am.
Because it started in 1987 and ended in 1991.
Yeah.
We're talking about Bubblegum Crisis. And yeah, this is it was a set of OVAs. It didn't actually air on TV. It was a set of OVAs that came out over the course of the late 80s, early 90s, and it also had a prequel and sequel series. We're not going to talk about those here. We'll probably get to those in the future, because I do want to talk about those at some point, and there's actually not a whole lot of it anyway. So
yeah,
there's that. But it's a more or less a cyberpunk thing.
Yeah,
with robots and exosuits and stuff.
Yeah. Retro Crush has it tagged sci-fi adventure mecha shonen.
Yes, was. Yeah, cyberpunk.
So yeah, and that fairly well fits.
Yeah, it's let's see, it takes place in the year of 2033 in Mega Tokyo.
Mega Tokyo.
Well, it's actually mostly 2033, a little bit in 2032, but
yeah.
Yeah, Mega
Around
Tokyo.
That time period. In the far future of 12 years from now.
At the time, it was pretty far away.
It was.
But yeah, it's a series of 8 OVAs. So there's actually apparently they're planning a full 13, but got cut down to 8 because of reasons.
Aww. 'Cause raisins.
Yeah, but anyways, it's more or less about 4 girls who dress up they call themselves the Night Sabers, and they get in these exosuits and they beat up these robots called boomers.
It was ahead of its time.
Yes. I was wondering whether, because the thing is, I've seen the remake first. You have not seen the remake yet. But yeah, I wound up seeing the remake first, so it's like, I was wondering, do they still call them boomers in the original? Hey, they do! Hooray!
They do!
Because it's just funny.
It makes it hilarious.
Because, yeah, the boomers go out of control and wreck everything around them, and yeah, so yeah, they're the Night Sabers, and yeah, they're kind of somewhat of a mercenary group. They do get paid for their stuff, but they also sometimes will do good just for the sake of doing good, and they're supposed to go up against a corporation called Genome, I should say.
Genome, yeah.
Yeah, who more or less are the ones who built the boomers and whatnot, and they're big, and they control a lot of things, conspiracies, and all that stuff.
Yep. Big corporation that controls a whole bunch of things through corporate shenanigans. And less than legal means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 4 characters, you got the kind of the leader, or Celia Stingray. Here's the thing, though. This kind of might be a little difficult to talk about in general as an anime, just because it doesn't establish itself very well, if I'm going to be honest. In some ways.
It just kind of
throws you in. Throws you in, and then here you go.
And you just kind of figure out what is going on as things happen.
Kind of, and even then, there's a lot I don't understand. Like it was like this anime does a kind of a bad job of establishing its setting and characters, and I feel like there's a lot it kind of forgot to tell us. Whereas I know I watched the remake. The remake does a much better job of doing this. A much better job establishing the characters, their history, the world they live in. All that stuff is far better established in the remake.
Right. Yeah, I'll agree on that part where it is especially when it doesn't explain where these characters came from and stuff. But also at the same point, I didn't feel a huge need for it.
A lot of it, no, but I feel like you very least should establish the characters.
Yeah, it could have used a little bit more, but I also don't think it was I wasn't lost at all.
No, it's easy to follow the storylines. It's just kind of it's okay.
It would be nice to see, but
it's okay, stuff's happening like this. You kind of have to say, oh, I guess that means that is a thing,
right?
And it's sometimes that works, but I think this one was a little too vague about it at times. Again, the characters themselves is a lot of felt like they're just kind of there for along for the ride, and okay, what's their motivation? Why are they here? And I think only one of them really got any significant, or 2 of them really got any significant amount of characterization.
It may also be a result of the fact they got cut early.
Yeah, but yeah, you got Celia Stingray, who's kind of the leader. Yeah. She's the one who more or less built the suits and stuff and is in charge. You got Pris Asagiri. She's a rock star, literally.
Yep.
And she's also a bit of a hothead and rides motorcycles and stuff. She's the one who kind of this series kind of centers around.
Mm-hmm. She's kind of sort of the main character.
Yeah, so she's the one who gets kind of the most well established. Then you got Lina Yamazaki, and she doesn't get to do much. Again, I feel like she's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Which again, she's actually, if anything, the remake Lena's actually more the main character.
Which is weird, because it didn't feel like she was at all.
Yeah, that's what I said. The remake is pretty different.
Oh, the remake, yeah.
In the remake, she's kind of the main character. So I'd say this is she's way better established. And then you got Nene Romanova, who's she works with the police, the AD police, who's a special unit to deal with boomers, and they're kind of ineffectual at their job. Anyway, Nene is kind of there, and at this police thing, she's kind of their inside girl, and also she's not very good at fighting. She's the other one who's kind of gets somewhat established, but only really at literally the last episode.
Yeah, she gets a lot in the very last episode, and that's about it.
Which honestly felt like the last episode was the one that went, oh yeah, we forgot to actually establish what the characters are like, didn't we? Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the 4 main characters, and yeah, they're the Night Sabers, and they beat up boomers and all that stuff, and and you got Mackie Stingray, who's Celia's younger brother.
Yeah,
also a bit of a perv.
Bit of a perv,
including trying to look at his sister naked, which is really messed up. even by anime standards, is kind of a little out there.
Yeah.
There's also a minor character named Fargo. He kind of talks to Celia a couple times, but he doesn't really do much outside of that.
Yep.
And there's
basically an informant and gets like the jobs come in through him, sort of.
Yeah.
One of their points of contact.
Yeah, and then you got like Brian Mason and Quincy, who are part of the Genome Corporation, are, bad. They're bad guys.
Bad dudes.
And then you got Leon.
The
cop who flirts a lot with Pris.
Yeah.
He's also very cocky, and also, because he's part of the police, is also not quite that effective.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he's got his partner Daly, who's actually, gay.
Yeah.
He hits on Leon a couple times, but Leon just kind of like, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, other than that, that's really beyond that. There's not much to him. He's just, I guess, the token gay guy.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Just kind of weird.
Yeah, and there's the chief as well, who's, yells at Leon because he's a loose cannon cop who doesn't play by the rules.
That's literally the character type.
Yeah.
And he gets frustrated, but what keeps him around, and most of his frustrations are, because Brass won't let him do things.
And this Naoko, who's like Nene's friend in the police and coworker, and there's other characters, but that's pretty much your lot.
Yep.
They're the ones who are frequent, not like, oh, hey, where are we going to appear for 1 or 2 episodes?
Yeah.
That's the thing about the episodes also is they're all obviously in the same world, mostly centered on the same characters, but they're largely kind of standalone. Probably, again, due to the nature of its release of a series of OVAs.
Yeah, so you can't really have directly connected story.
Although couple of the episodes
Yeah.
are definitely connected, like the one with the boomers who are like vampires.
Right.
And sex androids.
Yeah, that one had a... Yeah, that brings up another point.
Yeah.
The tech and the connection with the robots is kind of weird and doesn't make any sense. Like, these... Okay, so there are these satellites in space that are basically giant lasers.
Yes.
And apparently if you just build a robot right, they'll just be able to use them. Like, okay.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
It's
some of the
it's vaguely established. It's something with they can synchronize with the satellites.
Yeah, certain boomers
and
can.
Like
there's a bit where they're actually kind of talking about how like some of the boomers turns out they accidentally can interface with these more or less these combat suits really well.
Yeah.
The sex androids can. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So. That's the thing is like, yeah, it's a lot of the stories are very standalone. They're, it's pretty easy to follow the actual plots of the individual episodes. Just sometimes you feel like, well, you kind of feel lost about more the larger context about behind it. Like you feel like there's more to it that they're not telling you. And it's unlike a lot of stuff where it's like, they don't tell you stuff and it's like, it's cool. Ooh, mysterious. I want to know more. It's like, you just kind of sit there like, wait, why? But why though? And they don't really establish why in any real context. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. There is a bit of that where they kind of introduce a concept that's unexplained and you never hear about it again.
Yep. What's that? I don't know.
And again, I don't know how much of it would have been explained in the other releases that we never got.
Right.
Because it was supposed to be longer.
Yeah, it might have been better explained, but yeah, it's kind of an odd one.
But we can only talk about what we actually got, so...
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, because I watched the remake a couple years ago, I don't remember all of it, so it's like I can only compare so much. But yeah, it's just I just feel like the remake definitely did one thing that most of the thing that the remake did was done better than this original version. It was very much a refinement, and they better established things, so now all the plot lines actually make sense in the context, versus it just kind of happens. You just kind of roll with it.
Yeah. Just gotta kind of go with it.
Yeah. But one thing I will say and definitely in this anime's favor is it has so much style.
Oh, it just oozes style.
Yes.
And the music.
Oh, yeah. It's synthwave.
Oh. Well, it's this 80s synth rock.
Yeah.
Basically.
And also actual vocalized music as well to like introduce episodes,
Yeah, it's like custom songs. Well, I don't know if if they were made specifically for the show or not, but it almost feels like it is. So,
Yeah.
they're great. It's it's just great.
Yeah, it's very stylish, and also everything looks real cool. You got the weird looking what we people can in the '80s consider future, the wedge cars, and they're basically just
Yeah.
driving wedge, and just the cyberpunk stuff, this massive city, and
It's the dystopian cyberpunk of the '80s, so it has a lot of
blatant Blade Runner
Blade Runner.
reference. I mean, there's
It's Blade Runner.
yeah, there's actually some blatant Blade Runner references. I can't remember if it's in here or in the remake, but yeah, like Pris's band.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, her band is Pris and the Replicants.
And the Replicants, yep.
Yeah, it's the whole. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's just really, really cool. It's cool to watch. Let's say that.
Oh, it is.
So sometimes the animation's looks a little off, but
I mean,
sometimes there was sometimes like something weird about the animation. I noticed like some things like just kind of frame just.
Yeah, I think I noticed that every now and then. It was just like, hey, wait a minute.
I didn't
Maybe
notice
a slight mistake, but
yeah, I know it's the general improvement though over the course of it as time went on. Although the weird thing is the last episode felt way more 90s than 80s, which kind of makes sense.
I mean, it was early '90s when that one came out.
Yeah, that's why at that point in time things had started to change in the world, the real world. So like, because one of the things about the 80s is like basically let's just all pretend we're not about to die in nuclear hellfire.
Ah, yes.
That was pretty much let's all just party, not think about that.
Yep.
That was pretty much the 80s and 80s culture in a nutshell.
And then the '90s happened.
Yeah. Whatever.
That was a weird time.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing. So the boomers, like, they can look like normal people, and then they all of a sudden just kind of explode out of the fake skin, and they're just these big hulking robots and with laser mouths, and yeah.
I'm just that whole statement you just made, thinking about a different definition of boomer.
Yep.
They look like normal people.
I know, that's great, isn't it?
It's great.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's kind of like, it's in some ways hard to talk about just because there's like you get to that point. It's like there's cool stuff like again you got the bit with this just something that doesn't have anything much to do with anything with boomers. So the bit with the race car, or not the race car, the guy driving a car basically because a motorcycle, bunch of bikers wrecked him and his wife way back when.
Yeah, there was like a certain what was the name of it? A very specific kind of biker gang. They named it. I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
it's like Outriders or something like that.
I think it's Outriders.
Yeah, he and what's her face? I can't remember the relation between the two. They caused a wreck. She got hurt really bad and basically psychologically traumatized by it. And he went on a revenge streak. Yeah, it had nothing to do with boomers.
Yeah, that was just bikers. Wrecked his car and gave his wife PTSD, and he went on a revenge streak. But then, this was a weird last second thing in the episode which felt really tacked on, which is all of a sudden the car develops minds of its own.
Yeah, that one felt weird.
That was like everything's great until that point. It's like what?
What? Yeah,
I mean they kind of set it up with the whole. There's some of the tech he was talking about earlier, but like, felt so weird. Like, oh no, the car develops mind of its own and it hates bikers. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Which of course Pris gets all entangled up in it because she rides her bike frequently way too fast.
Yeah, Pris is great.
As Nene is willing to pull her over for. You're really going to ticket me? Yes.
Yes, although I think part of that because she had someone there witnessing.
Yeah.
She couldn't just not.
Yeah.
Especially when it's that was the chief's niece.
Yep. Who's trying to figure out who the lightsabers are because one of them crushed her camera.
Thanks, Pris.
Good job. All you had to do was take the film out. No, you had to crush the camera instead.
Yeah, but that tracks for Pris though.
Yeah.
That tracks.
She's that kind of person. She's very much that kind of person.
Very much that kind of person.
Yeah. I think part of the problem is I think there was a manga and they just cut a lot of stuff. So it was like, oh, that's why it doesn't make sense, because they didn't tell us because it was in the manga.
I hate that. It happens so often.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Pris is just kind of angry at things, usually.
Pris is a character with a lot of emotions.
What is it? Rebel without a cause, essentially.
Yeah, sort
Well,
of.
she does have a kind of cause, which is kill the boomers.
Good cause.
Very good. Let's see. But yeah, that's the things. They don't. It's hard to talk about anyone else but Pris, really, because
Yeah, because it's the only one that. Like we said earlier, Nene got some establishment in the last, I guess, episodes. They're not really episodes because they're OVAs, but whatever.
they're still episodes.
The rest of them, Lena just doesn't have much of any to go off of.
Yeah, Lena, yeah.
Yeah, Cilia can be somewhat interesting, and there's definitely supposed to be more there.
There was a bit in the very first episode just kind of tried to establish stuff, but did it so quickly and so vaguely that it's like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, and the way she acts and stuff like that later, there's obviously more to her that we just never got to see.
Mm-hmm.
She's very intelligent. She has connections. She has history, which is odd for someone who's only supposed to be 22 years old, but whatever. Yeah, but we never get to see it. So it's like, she's kind of mysterious. But I'm not entirely certain if she's supposed to. Well, she's somewhat supposed to be because of the way they play her up.
Yep.
But again, not getting more about it.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the sequel series establishes things better or something.
Yeah, because one of the Ginam people knew her. I think it was Mason, yeah.
Yep.
Mason and her have history.
Yep. So they know something. Yeah, there's the stuff established, but never really followed up on. At least not in this series. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a whole. Celia's definitely got more to her that we just never actually got to see in the OVAs.
Yeah, and then you got Pris and Leon kind of flirting with each other in a weird way, and Pris kind of being a little soon towards Leon.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, kind of like just blowing him off, but then, oh, she's blushing though. Uh-oh. That sort of thing. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say stuff about beyond that. I don't know.
Yeah, it is hard because things are so disconnected between the episodes. And all in all, the individual episodes aren't like... There's not a huge amount of, I guess, really meat to them. It's
largely style.
Yeah, it's a lot of style with a little bit of substance, but it's not like an unbalanced thing. It's that's what you're going in expecting. It's fun to watch. Every now and then it kind of pokes at something a little more, but never really gets there. Like the whole thing with the vampire ones.
Zuxaroids or whatever.
Yeah, those. There was a specific model too. They kind of started hinting at the whole these robots kind of have a personality.
33S, yeah. Yeah, a lot of the boomers do have personalities of some sort.
Yeah, so it's like they kind of started to poke at the idea of, what is, I guess, the difference between man and machine, and where do you draw the line between who gets rights and who doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
With that
much
one,
like
but
Blade
they never.
Runner?
Yeah, but they didn't. They kind of poked at it just for a couple lines in that episode, and then not really.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Sylvie there became friends with Pris, and unfortunately Pris had to kill Sylvie because stuff happens.
Yeah, the DD or whatnot.
Yep, self-destruct reaction. Fail-safe.
Yep, it's a super advanced military combat robot thing that if its pilot if it detects its pilot is dying, it goes into automated mode and then activates a self-destruct.
Which is, by the way,
weird because
blast.
Yeah, it's a neutron bomb. Seems a bit overkill, but whatever. Also, the solution is to kill the pilot, which doesn't make any sense if it's doing it because it finds the pilot's in distress. I don't know. It's weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Just don't really try to poke at the story too much. There is a story there, but you can find holes pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's a lot of white. What? It's just no. Just shut up. It looks cool though.
It is a lot of fun to watch.
Yep.
And it is really, the style is amazing.
Yeah, and because it's only 8 episodes, which are less than an hour each, it doesn't take that long to watch, honestly.
Yeah, that's another one. The length of the episodes varies a lot.
Mm-hmm. The shortest one
Some
being
are
26
less than half
minutes.
an hour.
One of them, the shortest is 26 and the longest is 52.
Yeah.
So it's really not that long. It's just kind of a... I will say personally, and this is probably something I'm not sure how you react depending on, well, you're going to have to see it eventually later, but I will say I think the remake is overall a better anime.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But this one is, I would also say aesthetically more, I think aesthetically generally better. Aesthetically. Because, the remake was made in the late 90s, so it was kind of a different aesthetic overall.
Yeah. Different style of doing things and drawing things and whatnot.
Not sure what else to say, really.
Yeah. Oh, that
cool. Definitely is cool. Worth at least looking
cool.
at.
I enjoyed watching it. Even with its faults, I still found it enjoyable. Synthwave, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you just really want a cool looking 80s thing, this is not a bad thing to choose and watch.
Yeah, definitely not a bad option at all.
Yeah, definitely better than Lily Cat.
Lily Cat's not even worth it.
Yep.
Not even worth. Don't even bother.
Yeah. I guess that's
also,
it for
Chris
this.
is the best character.
Yeah, well, that's kind of... I mean...
No, you don't have very many other options here, given that they didn't really expand upon him, but I still think if they were to have, Chris would still have been my favorite.
She's got some competition in the remake, I'll say that. I guess that's it for this one.
It's going to be a bit of a short one.
Episode. Yeah, I guess that's what happened. I wasn't sure how this was going to play out, but, well, yeah, okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can check out past and future episodes at newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com. It's spelled Labsyn. New episodes will be posted there as they come out, and you also got links to other destinations besides the RSS feed, there, including, of course, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. You can search for and subscribe to us via any of those. And, of course, you can also find us on Amazon Podcasts as well, doing the same thing, search and subscribe. You can also contact us via email. It's newtoweeaboo@gmail.com if you have questions or criticisms. Or did you watch this? Did you agree with us at all? Or you're like, no, you should have read this manga, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Or whatever. Maybe you're wrong. The remake's worse, so much worse, blah, I don't know. Or you have recommendations for other anime. We have gotten a couple now, and we're going to definitely take a look at those.
Yep. Thank you for those recommendations.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a look, but that's not going to be for a bit because our schedules are kind of set for the next few months at the very least. And so that's that on that front. You can also follow us on Twitter. You follow us there at newtoweeaboo. Follow, retweet, like, all that stuff. And of course, you can follow our personal accounts. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and he's at Outriders770 and an underscore at the end. There, that's things. I'm still reviewing Transforming Robots. Yep. Not the boomer variety, though. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed, and tune in next time. We'll be talking about another anime. So, Alcatraz, do you want to make a contract?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Madoka Magica.
Yay.
Prepare for the pain.
Don't lose your head.
Oh, no, we can't talk about that yet. That's for next time. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time, and take care of yourselves, and goodbye.
Bye.